What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update. Welcome to your third stimulus check update, stimulus package update and news report for Saturday, March 13th. Now, today is going to be a big day. According to the White House, they have said that this weekend we could potentially be seeing our $1,400 stimulus checks hitting our bank accounts through direct deposit. For those of you that receive a paper check or a prepaid debit card, you may not see your $1,400 stimulus check until possibly the end of this month. So for that, I'm sorry. Hopefully you get direct deposit. So right now you could be opening up your bank account and see $1,400 right there for you, $1,400 for your spouse, $1,400 for every single dependent that you have. So that is good news. Now, this will be for the first wave of individuals though. So even though we may see 50, 100 million people receive their $1,400 stimulus checks this weekend or over the next few days, what you do need to understand is if you're part of the second round, then payments will most likely come out probably the middle to end of this coming week. So at least the $1,400 stimulus checks are already being issued. The good thing about this is that many people were already expecting these stimulus payments to come sometimes at the end of next week or the week after. So being that they're going to come about a week early, honestly, this is going to be a good move. This is something that the IRS and the Treasury are trying to speed along simply because they say this is not only good for the American people, but this is good for the IRS as well because right now, what is it? Well, it's the middle of tax season. So yes, you could be getting your stimulus check today, possibly tomorrow, but again, that will be through direct deposit. So don't be going to check your mailbox because it won't be there. If not, do not worry. The IRS has stated they are going to try and get all these stimulus checks out much faster than last time, and hopefully they won't send these stimulus payments to the online tax preparer for them to deal with, because that was a huge issue. This was a huge mistake, and the IRS hopefully made this mistake and learned from it. At this time, when millions of Americans are just in dire need of additional funding, they haven't worked for months, right? They're behind on their rent. They're behind on their car payments. They have, debt, up the wazoo, right? What we know is these $1,400 stimulus checks for many low-income households are going to go very quickly. However, for some higher-income households or higher-income individuals, you may see these stimulus checks never hit the economy because they go into the stock market, they go into savings, or they go to pay off debt. Either one, I think, is still very good. There are still smart things to do. Saving is smart. Paying off debt, extremely smart. Investing, maybe not right now, but in the future, it's going to look like a very wise investment, which is essentially what it is. Now, we know at this time, large companies are starting to scale back their layoffs. They're starting to call people back. Companies like American Airlines, United Airlines, Amtrak, and even the New York's Transit Authority are all scaling back their furloughs. They were, especially United Airlines and American Airlines, were expected to lay off, tens of thousands more people at the beginning of April. However, they have now said, no, you're not going to be laid off. You are going to continue to have a job. Just throw away those letters. That's the good news. We even know that Disney parks are beginning to hire people back as we speak. Disneyland, for example, if you've been wanting to go to Disneyland is going to be open in April, and more than 10,000 furloughed workers will be going back to work very soon. According to reports, Disney is expecting to hire back all these workers to hopefully be able to cater to the demand that a lot of people are going to want to come to Disneyland. I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section below. Are you going to use your stimulus check to go to Disneyland? Let me know. Curious. Right now, experts say that more and more businesses opening up, with vaccines going out, with stimulus checks being delivered and being in hand, and with the American people understanding how to finally live with this virus for years to come, because that's what experts were kind of worried about, is a lot of people would pretty much reject any advice. Wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance when possible, get a vaccine. Those 4 things, if you can do those. Experts are now saying that if the American people can cope with this pandemic, cope with this virus, then it's going to make everything getting back to normal much easier, because even though we can go and do those things that we used to love, going to a movie, going on a cruise, going on an airplane, traveling, going to Disneyland, we can do all those things, and we can do them safely as long as everybody understands kind of how to deal with it and cope with these kind of new regulations or new requirements as to wearing a mask, washing your hands, social distancing, hand sanitizer, right? And getting a vaccine. So we will see. President Biden did state he wants every single state to open vaccinations to all adults by May 1st. Well, that's in 2 months. That's in less than 2 months, in like a month and a half. So he did state that he wants to see local funding go out quickly, because he knows the state and local government funding is going to be necessary in order to provide this, in order to get states open, in order to get the the vaccinations out into the arms of the American people. He would like to see the IRS do a better job at getting stimulus checks to those that qualify but didn't get the stimulus check because they didn't know how to go and get it. There's many people, and a lot of you guys have said this to me before, is, well, I qualify based on everything you're telling me. I am not on somebody else's tax return. I do not file taxes personally because I don't need to. I'm on SSI, SSDI, and I just don't have to qualify. But if you do not, or you just don't have to go and do a tax return. But if that's you, you still have to go to the irs.gov website. You have to go and fill out the Get My Payment Portal tool and go and put in your information, because if the IRS doesn't know where to send you a check, they won't send you a check. So just want to be 100% clear. Every single American does qualify for a stimulus check. If you're not getting one, there's probably a reason why. All you can do, just go to Google and type in IRS stimulus payment phone number, and you will get their exact phone number. I'd give it to you here, but like I always tell you, go and if you get a phone number from anybody, whether that's a friend, relative, or the guy on YouTube, go and double check it, because you never know. It could be a scam, right? I'm not going to scam you. I promise you I'm not going to do that. But so I'm just not going to give you the phone number. Just go to Google, type in IRS stimulus payment phone number, and you will find the phone number right there to call the IRS. Now, Democrats believe that educating the American people about this bill is the best way for them to retain their seats in Congress over the next in the next 2 years. What I can tell you is this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to give you new updates every single day, multiple times a day. It's because things keep changing. This information that we're getting is always changing. I want to keep you up to date on everything that's happening, because right now what I can tell you is if we wait for the Biden administration to come out and do a huge campaign to educate the people, the problem is they're probably going to have slides, they're going to have PowerPoint presentation, they're going to have all these things that all these advisors have helped them kind of craft. That's going to take weeks, possibly months. Who here has months to wait for the stuff the relief that we passed, right? That we passed the other day? Nobody wants to wait. So that's one of the reasons why I continue to do these updates, so that you guys have all the information right now, as opposed to waiting a couple weeks or possibly a month. What we do know is that Republicans were not happy that this bill passed. Well, no Republican voted for it. So that's one of the ways to tell. But we do know Democrats wanted to provide even more help than what was passed. Progressives, they still want to fight, and they're still going to fight, and they're going to get a $15 minimum wage provision. They're going to get this into some bill, whether it passes or not. That's currently what's kind of up in the air. But what I can tell you is progressives do still have a fight on their hands. They want the $15 minimum wage provision. They want monthly stimulus checks. And they also want student loan forgiveness. They're not going to stop till these things are in the bill. And all these things could be added into the very large infrastructure bill, which President Biden is calling his Build Back Better plan. We could see this. But reports indicate that this Build Back Better plan might not even be the next bill that gets passed by Congress. According to reports, some Democrats are saying that they are still weeks, possibly even a month away from getting the bill's framework even ready. We are still working on the framework. We're not even talking about the different verbiage, talking about all the different proposals. We don't have the different amendments. We don't have all this stuff. We're working on the framework. That's it. And some are saying, Democrats are even saying that we're weeks, possibly even a month away. So if this is the case, then what we are hearing, according to the Washington Post, is that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is working on a bill to counter China's rising global power. Well, you're probably thinking, well, why would he do that? Why do we need that? Well, here's what we know. It's because of this that he is proposing additional funding. Because right now we are pretty much at the pretty much waiting for China to send us stuff. Additional products, technology is a big one, right? And this is a big issue. Right now, we currently have a shortage of semiconductors, which if you are a big Tesla fan, you love EVs, you know they're having a difficult time producing more vehicles because they don't have semiconductors. That's becoming an issue. And passing this bill would actually help. This bill would proposing, based on the proposal of what we know, he is looking at proposing additional funding to bolster the U.S. manufacturing and supply chains, which again would help with providing more, or at least addressing that shortage of semiconductors right now. We also need to create a nationwide 5G network, and this would provide the funds to do that. And there are many other issues that are making China much better than the United States, and experts say we need to address these issues as quickly as possible. And according to President Biden, he does not want to be looking at China's butt. He wants to be in front of them, and he wants to be leading the way. So that was not an exact quote, by the way. You probably understood that, but just wanted to mention that. We don't know, though, how much of a bipartisan bill this would be. We don't know if we have bipartisan support on this yet. Some do say that Republicans would support provisions within this bill. However, depending on the size of this, China package, like some people are calling it, then we don't know if Republicans would jump on board or not. So, just depends. But many Democrats do feel that the only way to get bipartisan support on the large infrastructure bill or President Biden's Build Back Better plan is by first getting Republicans on board with a smaller bill. And that would be this one. Not the $1.9 trillion stimulus package that already passed, but this China package that would provide and bolster the U.S. economy and manufacturing. So we will see. What I can tell you is that Democrats will need to almost bend over backwards, just to get Republicans on board with the bill, because they pretty much feel like nobody listened to them. They feel like, why should they, jump in and support a bill that Democrats are going to pass now? Why are they going to even address this when they should have been talking to Republicans back for this $1.9 trillion stimulus package? So Democrats are like, how do we pass more bills without Republican support? And if we do not have the ability to do just pretty much unlimited budget reconciliations, which they don't. They only have 3, actually 2 more now for the calendar year of 2021. What I can tell you, though, right now is that it's going to be very difficult to get any bills passed with bipartisan support at this point. And this is one of the reasons why progressives are pushing to get rid of the filibuster. However, centrist Democrats like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, even President Biden himself, do not want to get rid of the filibuster because it actually takes away the voice of the minority, which currently is Republicans. But Democrats understand if there was no filibuster when they held the minority and Mitch McConnell was the Senate Majority Leader, things would be completely different at this point. So that's kind of what we're hearing right now. As always, I promise to share more as I know more. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.